Hello, lovelies. Happy Wellness Wisdom Wednesday. I'm Donya Fahmy, and I'm the Alchemist in Chief at Sustainable Health Solutions Incorporated and the founder and formulator for Dropwise Essentials. I'm also known as a natural health expert and a lifestyle transformation facilitator. And I'm here with you live today to talk about whether or not you should do some spring cleaning for your body. And if yes, what are some things to keep in mind to have a successful outcome? So, is your body overdue for spring cleaning? Well, let's find out. So in today's session, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the purpose of cleansing, internal cleansing I'm talking about now here, and a little bit about the different types of cleanses and detoxes that you can do out there and some of the pros and cons of each. We're going to talk about how you know if it's time. Is your body really ready for spring cleaning or cleansing in general? And I'm going to share 5 quick tips with you to help you have a successful outcome with whatever kind of detox or cleanse you decide to do, if you decide to do one. So, by the way, please share this post with anyone you know, or tag someone you know who's interested in this topic or that you think would benefit from this information. All right? So, yay, spring is finally upon us. It's a little bit later than normal this year, I think. What with all the crazy weather we've been having, especially some of those recent snowstorms back east. It's just nuts, right? But you know what? The return of sunshine, yay, sunshine, warmer days, longer days, warmer weather and longer days is kind of like ushering us out. It's like a signal that ushers us out of hibernation, from our winter hibernation. So it's not unusual for us to have thoughts about spring cleaning at this time of the year. But my question to you is, how many of you, when you think about spring cleaning, ponder the importance or necessity of doing some internal spring cleaning? See, most people don't even think about how important it is to give our bodies a break from all the toxins that we're constantly being exposed to. I'm talking about things that are, many of which are out of our control, things like air pollution, pesticides, heavy metals, chemical solvents, petroleum, and plastic byproducts, just to name a few. You see, those kinds of toxins are routinely getting into our bodies, and they can't easily get out. And so what happens is they stack on top of the toxins that are just the normal byproducts of our ongoing metabolic processes, right? So we have metabolic waste, which just comes from at the cellular level, and that needs to get out. But when you add all these other toxins on top of that, stack them all up, now it's hard. It's a lot harder for your body to do the job that it's actually designed to do. So our bodies do have built-in systems for filtering and detoxifying, but we get to a certain point, it's like kind of a breaking point or a limit beyond which the body can no longer function properly and efficiently because it's just so overloaded, right? So think of it this way. You can think about cleansing your body. It's like changing the oil in your car, sort of. Like it's something you kind of need to do on a regular basis, even if you don't think you need to, or you're not aware that you need to, right? And just like a car who needs to have an oil change but hasn't had one and it doesn't perform at its optimal level, if we don't do some kind of cleansing every now and then, we'll find that we're going to be operating more sluggishly and not at maximum or even normal capacity. So who's with me here? Give me a hell yeah. Say hello if you're there and you know what I'm talking about. So that brings me to the question that some of you may have about, like, okay, what's the difference between a cleanse and a detox, and which one is right for me, and how will I know? So the way I look at it is that the difference between cleanse and detox is really a semantic one. It's all about just the words that you're using, but they both are just slightly different ways of achieving the same outcome, which is to clear your body's organ systems of damaging organisms, pathogens, viruses, toxins, what have you, whatever's built up in your system, as well as metabolic waste. And it's designed to give your liver and kidneys a break so they can do the job more efficiently. And it's done first by stopping or stemming the flow of toxin into the body, right? So you're kind of like doing almost like a fast. So you're not putting any more substances into your body that could be contributing to the toxic load. And then you do the cleansing part, which is actually helping your body move all those damaging organisms, including cancer-inducing free radicals, out of your system. So that's just in a nutshell what a cleanse or a detox really is. I mean, the detoxification is the ultimate goal, I think, of both. And so there are different types, of course. What are the different types? Traditional cleanses tend to be shorter in duration and more intense. So it could be anywhere from a 1 day to a 1 week juice or water fast of some kind that also includes in consuming a type of fiber, and then bentonite clay, which is an excellent way, by the way, for kind of pulls all the toxins out of the lining of your stomach and your digestive system. And the fiber helps with that process as well. So it's a fiber and the clay. And then usually there's some kind of herbal detoxifying supplements that often contain laxatives in them to speed up the process of moving things out of your system. And then optimally, if you're doing those cleanses, you're going to want to do an enema or some kind of colonic or colon hydrotherapy to help rinse out everything from your internal system. Excuse me. So then there are more sort of gradual and far less intense cleanses, and these are more like anywhere from, 10 days to a month or more. And what those are really diet modifications, so you're going to really you're going on a diet that's designed to gently detox your system by, again, eliminating all things that are toxic that you may be putting in your body by eating unhealthy, and loading it up with nutrients that help support your system. And usually will involve some kind of herbal supplementation as well. And if you're doing it the right way, then you'll want to add enemas, although not necessarily every day on a long term, but you'll want to do regular enemas to help clean out the colon and get things moving, or keep things moving, really. The thing is that the long-term cleansing technique is actually could be quite as effective, maybe even more so than the short term, but it does require a commitment of time, and just a real commitment. You need to put the time and the effort into it to get the same results. Now, the short-term ones are more popular, but actually they're less successful in the long run, and I'll get into that in a minute here. I'd like to know if anybody here has done one type of cleanse or another. If you've done a short-term cleanse or a long-term cleanse, I'd love to hear from you. Post in the comment below. How did they differ? How do they compare? Or which one have you done and what kind of results did you get? Right? Share that if you would. So how do you know if your body is ready for a spring cleaning and what type of cleanse is best for you? So if you're experiencing the symptoms that are typically come from toxic overload, meaning the toxins are building up in your tissues in your body, they create a lot of these symptoms. If you have one or more of the following symptoms, then that's how you know it's probably time for you to do a little spring cleaning. So fatigue is obviously one. Brain fog, difficulty concentrating, chronic headaches, acute or chronic allergies, right? And it is allergy season. Spring typically is the beginning of allergy season, but if you're finding that you're having an especially hard time with it, that could also be a signal that you're due for a cleansing. Upper respiratory issues like bronchitis and asthma, digestive issues, digestive disturbances, whatever the nature, if you're having ongoing, that's also a sign that your colon could use some clearing. And skin eruptions or skin issues, any type of skin issue, whether it's eczema, psoriasis, or just dry, itchy skin, no matter what you do, those are all signals that you may be having toxic overload. And then joint pain is another one, right? Now, keep in mind, all these symptoms are associated with a wide variety of conditions. So you may have other things going on, but typically these are the symptoms that are associated with toxic overload. So regardless of what other conditions you may have or think you may have, the underlying causes the toxicity. And that is definitely a clear sign that you're ready for some spring cleaning. Also, it's a good way to flush out hidden viruses if you have them, which are also one of the contributing factors to those types of symptoms. Now, another condition or situation in which it's time to do cleansing is if, for example, and this may not apply to most of you, but if you're just coming off some kind of a bender or an extended period of overindulgence, which is kind of typically what happens during the holiday season, right? We get a lot of sugar, a lot of sweets, a lot of alcohol. We don't get much rest. Our immune systems are weak. Those are that's another example of a good time to do spring cleaning if you've just come off a period, an extended period of something like that. Okay. So based on what I just shared with you, how many of you know or suspect you might be overdue for a spring cleaning? Let me see a show here. Let me see. Yeah. Post in the comment below. So what type of cleanse is right for you? Okay, this is a tricky question. There's no right or wrong answer, and everybody's situation is going to be different. A lot of it will depend on the current state of your health. You know, how congested and clogged up are you? How bad are those symptoms that I read off to you, you know, that you're experiencing? And it also depends on what your goals are. Like, is your goal to clear out, you know, old viruses? Is it to give your colon a reset? Is it to give your liver and your kidneys a break? Or is it really just to kind of jumpstart your efforts to get into better, you know, eating habits? You know, those are all legitimate goals, but I think you need to kind of be clear on which one you want, so you know what type of cleanse to go for. Now, the benefits of good detox can be incredible, but it's not something to be taken lightly. Like, don't try to just do this on your own if you've never done it before. You're probably better off consulting a healthcare practitioner or someone who can guide you through the process. That's one thing. And, you know, again, short-term detoxes are super popular. You know, they're the most popular. Why? Because people are interested in doing them for losing weight, for dropping rapid weight loss. But here's the thing. The purpose of a cleanse is not to lose weight. And weight loss could be a nice side benefit of doing the cleanse, but it's not the primary purpose. So you really should be cautious and aware. Pay attention to, like, if you're buying like a detox kit, for example, or a product that's, you know, touting that the primary goal is to lose weight, I'd be very cautious and suspicious of that, because that's not really what the purpose of a cleanse is. And here's the simple truth. Whatever weight you lose during a short-term cleanse is going to be mostly water weight, which you'll probably end up gaining right back if you go right back to the same unhealthy eating habits that kind of drove you to need to do a detox or cleanse in the first place. So that's the deal there. And by the way, we're going to go really deep into the subject and the pros and cons of different types of cleanses and detoxes and how to heal your gut in my upcoming new monthly membership program called the Sustainable Wellness Success Circle. I'm going to be rolling it out sometime in the next couple of months. I'm really excited about being able to offer you great education and support, not just with this particular topic, but with a range of topics that are really critical to your optimal health and well-being. So if that's something you think you'd be interested in, if you'd like to be among the first to get the details and our special charter membership offer, then type the words early bird in the comments below, and I'll reach out to you shortly with the details on how you can register to get early access to this. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. So stay tuned. But, you know, the best way to protect your body, obviously, from toxins is to eat healthy. We all know that. You know, you want to eat a diet that's rich in foods that are supportive of your digestive tract and your organs. So you want, you know, a lot of veggies, high quality protein, lean protein. You want fiber rich carbohydrates, healthy fats, and those last two are really important, by the way, fiber rich carbs and healthy fats. And you'll want to, of course, add a lot of nutrients, minerals. You can do them as supplements or hopefully get a lot of it from your food. Minerals, phytonutrients, antioxidants, all of those things that really help build the strength of your body from the inside out. And, you know, when you do switch to a primarily plant-based diet, you are just by default really lowering your exposure to things like hormones, antibiotics, saturated fats, and nitrates, which are, you know, very commonly found in a lot of processed foods and conventional dairy and conventional animal product. So that gives your body a break, a needed break to kind of calm down. So especially if you're dealing with autoimmune or you're having digestive issues, your system is on hyperdrive, overdrive, so you want to give it a break. And so switching to this type of eating is going to do that for you, and it's going to help you clean out and bulk up on the healing antioxidants and things that are good for you, right? So if you do decide to do a shorter term cleanse, I suggest that you start with a 2 or 3 day, or maybe even a 1 day, especially if you've never done this before. See how you do on that, okay? If it's not too difficult, then you might be ready to graduate to like a 7-day cleanse, but give it a try, okay? Because, you know, just remember something. If you cleanse too hard, too fast, you're going to have what they call like a healing crisis. What does that mean? That is, you get sick basically because of the rapid release of toxins into your system, right? And then they're not moving out fast enough. And so you're going to have things like headaches, nausea, upset stomach, fever, aches and pains. It's a kind of a lot like having the flu. It's really not very pleasant. And so just be aware that that could happen and be prepared for that. And don't let it discourage you and make you jump off, like quit before it's over. But again, you need to do a little bit of research on this so you can figure out, what it is you're capable of handling, and consult a professional if you're not sure. Okay, so here are my 5 quick tips on how to make the most of your cleansing, detoxing, and get the best results from that. So number 1, okay, I've already mentioned this, but number 1 is you need to decide what your goal is. Okay, you need to decide what your goal is, and then based on your goal, decide which type of cleanse you're going to do and how long you want to do it for. Right. So certain ones, depending on which ones you pick, are only designed to be short term. But if you have a choice between like a 2 and a 7 day, for example, or if you're going to do a longer term, a 10 or a 30 day, whatever it is, make sure that you are willing to go to the distance and commit the time and resource to do it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Number 2, if you're a coffee drinker, listen up. If you're a coffee drinker, you're going to want to wean yourself off the coffee for about a week before you start your cleanse, because otherwise you're going to have massive caffeine withdrawal headaches in the first 24 to 48 hours of your cleanse, and it's really unpleasant, and it may drive you to just ditch the whole thing instead of going the distance. So make sure you start to wean yourself off the stuff at least a week before you do your cleanse. And ideally you want to do that with sugar and processed foods as well, so that it goes a little bit more smoother. And number 3, fiber. Very important that you use a quality fiber as part of your cleanse, whether it's short-term or long-term. Now, most of the detox kits that you'll buy in the store use something called psyllium, Psyllium, I think it's how you spell it, psyllium husk, or psyllium husk fiber as the fiber that you put in your system. Now, the only issue there is that a lot of companies have stopped selling those products because they're having a difficult time sourcing clean psyllium that doesn't have trace amounts of arsenic in it. And so, if you're doing a cleanse to detox and get toxins out of your body, and you're using a fiber that may have trace elements of metals, heavy metals, or the very things you're trying to get rid of, it kind of defeats the purpose of doing a cleanse or a detox. So load up on quality fiber, and some of the things you can do instead, you can do flaxseed, you can do hemp seeds, you can do oats, oatmeal. Just make sure it's organic, and I believe you can get those in powder form. If not, you can easily grind them in a good blender or a good grinder into a powder and use those in place of the psyllium. Okay, so fiber is important, and the quality. Number 4, do a daily hot bath with Epsom salts. Epsom salts help draw toxins out of your skin. So maybe at the end of each of your day, you can just draw a nice hot bath, put a cup of Epsom salts, maybe with a couple drops of lavender essential oil to help you just relax, and do that. Now, one other option you can do is not as practical unless you have the equipment in your home, but you can do a foot detox, a foot spa detox, and there's it's a little bit costly, but you can buy one of these and have them in your home, or if you've got a health center near you or a place that does colonics, they may offer that as a special thing. And it's basically a foot bath, and you sit in a foot bath and all the toxins get drawn out of your feet, and it can get kind of gross. I'll just warn you about that. But it's another way to help draw the toxins out. And so it's a good idea to do that while you're cleansing and detoxing. And the other thing that you should also consider is an infrared sauna, which will help remove the toxins by sweat. And again, you'll have to find a facility near you that offers those kinds of things. But if you can't do that, then just do the Epsom salt baths. And then number 5, as unpleasant as it sounds, you kind of need to do an enema, at least one enema, and probably more than one. So enema, or consider doing a colonic or colon hydrotherapy, having a professional do that for you. Now, there's pros and cons to doing each. And enema can be kind of messy and a pain, and no pun intended, pain in the ass to do, but it doesn't cost, it costs you almost nothing. The colonic can be quite expensive, and it can be very intense as well, especially if you're really backed up. So if you are, then I would suggest that you do the enema yourself. And you can find some great videos on YouTube on how to do that, the best way to do it. And I would do that, and then I would consider doing a colonic after you finish your cleanse to sort of clear out any remaining debris that might still be in your colon. Okay, so that's what, and one last thing, just to kind of wrap it, if you want to seal in the benefits of a cleanse or a detox, you need to come back into resurface or reorbit, into your daily routine gradually in terms of what you eat. So you need to introduce food slowly and gently back into your diet for the first couple of days after a cleanse. So you want to stay with very light foods, steamed vegetables, brown rice, green juices, maybe a little fruit. Don't go right back into dairy and meat and processed and foods and sugars. Stay clear of that for as long as you can to get the maximum benefit. And ideally you want to stay clear of that, period. But if you can't, at least wait, gradually wean back into regular eating habits over a period of about 5 days so that you don't, you get the most out of it and you don't make yourself feel rotten or have more problems after the cleanse is done. So let's recap what we talked about today. We talked about the purpose of doing a cleanse and what the difference between cleansing and detoxing is, right? So basically the ultimate end goal is the same, which is to clear your body of toxins and give your organs a break, and let them do what they're designed to do without all the extra added burden that typically comes from toxic exposure that we all have and that we don't realize that we have, okay? And remember, I said it's a lot like cleansing. The purpose of cleansing is a lot like changing oil in your car. If you can kind of put that off and not do it, but the longer you put it off, the more sluggish your car will be. And so think about it that way. We talked about how do you know if you're ready to do one? Well, I listed the symptoms, things like headaches, chronic allergies or acute allergies, digestive problems, asthma, bronchitis, skin problems, joint pain, mental fatigue. All of those things are symptoms of toxic overload as well as symptoms of other issues, and definitely a sign that you're ready to do some kind of spring cleaning. That's how you know if you need to do it. And then what type is best for you? Again, that's a kind of an individual thing. It really depends on what kind of state your health is at the moment, how bad those symptoms are, how bad you're feeling, and then again, how much you're willing to do to get out of that state. And there are different types, so you need to be really clear about what your goal is and what you're willing to commit to. And if you've never done it before, make sure you consult a healthcare practitioner of some kind or someone that has a lot of experience with that to guide you through the process and monitor your outcome. And then I shared my 5 quick tips for successful outcome, and that is, again, to be clear on what the goal of the cleansing is and how long you want to do it, and which type you want to do. And then number 2 is if you drink coffee, make sure you wean off the coffee at least a week before you start your cleanse so that you don't have the nasty caffeine withdrawal headaches. Number 3 is make sure you use a quality fiber product in your cleansing, and that means to move away from traditional psyllium husks or psyllium powder and do something more like flax seeds or hemp seeds or oats, and make sure they're certified organic. Number 4 is to take a daily hot bath with Epsom salts to help draw the toxins out. And if it's an option that's available to you, you might want to do a detox foot bath or an infrared sauna or both. The more the merrier. Might as well get it all out at once. and then last but not least is you need to do the enemas or a colonic, colon hydrotherapy. Although during the cleanse, I recommend that you do an enema. It's cheaper and it's less intense and less it's less harsh on your system than a colonic. And then you might want to consider rounding off your cleanse after you've completed it with a colonic. Professional colonic. And then, of course, last but not least is make sure you ease back into your normal routine gradually over the course of 3 to 5 days after you complete your cleanse. Unless, of course, you're doing a long-term cleanse, in which case I hope that you will have changed your diet and won't need to do anything really special for that. And again, I want to just let you know that if you're interested in early bird access to my upcoming new membership program, the Sustainable Wellness Success Circle, then type the words early bird in the comments below, and I will reach out to you with information on how to register for early access in our special charter membership offer. And that's it for today, lovelies. I hope you found this information useful and valuable. And tune in next week when I'll be talking about how to detox your home as part of your spring cleaning rituals. And until the next time, be well. Ciao.